So here we create a new workflow, and we choose a trigger to begin the workflow. Right here, we choose a simple time interval trigger and set it to run the workflow every 10 minutes. We then choose our channels as data source. And set a filter. We simply connect the filter like this. We then filter the channels based on the local capacity, and we want all the channels with less than 5% local capacity. We also name the filter for convenience. In this workflow, we choose to close the channels with less than 5% capacity, and we just use the default settings for this. We can then also name the workflow, so it's easier to find. And since this workflow closes channels, we want to make sure that we're actually running the right filters. That's why we added the dry run option. The dry run runs the entire workflow without executing any of the actions, and we can see the log of what would have happened. Now you can see it's a dry run. We select all the channels, we filter it, and you can see which channels passed and which didn't, and lastly, the action that occurred. This is an example of a more advanced workflow where we manage the feeds of the channels. And you can see we have a lot more filters. We also trigger it based on the channel balance changes. And of course, we set the feed for each of these scenarios. And here you can see the workflow log for this automation. Again, you can see it's a dry run. Now on the right, there's a lot more actions going on here, and you can see the diagram is much more advanced. And because this can be a lot, we added the ability to click on the diagram to filter it down to just see one of these paths. You can also double click on each of these elements to just see that single action.